Welcome back to the Angry Man Podcast with Jason and Greg. So, Jay, there's news out there in regards to Gervonta Davis and the possibility that he's going to return this summer. And what's interesting about this return, Jay, is supposedly it's possible that this return will be in the UK. Now, ordinarily, when I see stuff like this, I would just dismiss it and say that it's cap. But because our good friend to the show, who will be on our show tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Jake Donovan. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the live stream. Said that this story actually has legs, Jay. So there is a possibility that Gervonta Davis may make a return this summer in the UK. Now, what's interesting about that is, and I know a lot of people are in the comment section who are Gervonta Davis detractors, will come in there and say, well, if he can fight in the UK, then why he can't fight in Saudi Arabia? Because they already offered the money. And in reality, there is no offer on the table as of yet for the Saudis, or at least from the Saudis. Now, I don't know how all of this will possibly work, Jay. I mean, right now, PBC has a deal with Amazon Prime. So whatever Gervonta does is going to be tied to Amazon Prime. So let's say the Saudis were willing to do that. Amazon Prime is going to have to be involved in some way, shape, or form. But they are saying, Jay, that this actually has legs. And so when you think about it, who could possibly be the opponents this summer? Now, summer, you know, sometimes people get summer confused with late spring. So I don't know if they're talking about June, July, or August as a possible return date. I would hope that it will be somewhere in June that we would see Gervonta Davis return. Now, who could possibly be the opponents, Jay? Now, I know you spend way more time researching the possible opponents of all of these different fighters. So I'm going to turn it over to you quickly, and then I'll react to it and then pass it back to you. But who are the individuals who would be possibilities for Gervonta Davis in the event that he actually fights in the UK in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, interesting thoughts of him going to UK. I mean, it could be Frank Martin for one. Frank Martin last fought in July. That'd be a decent scrap too. That's something that'd be a good fight we want to see. But another fight we could look at, Shakur Stevenson. That's another good fight. You know, it just depends on what Shakur does immediately, because he has one more fight with Top Rank. So if he has a fight within the next couple of months set up and he gets that out of the way, then he's a free agent. Then that can definitely, you know, turn to a possibility of him fighting Tank, whether it be June, July, August. Then you also have possibly still Devin, you know, although we know Devin, and suppose the rumors were talking about Devin and Tank would be in Saudi Arabia. But that's also another option out there. So those are my three top picks, would be Frank Martin, Shakur Stevenson, and then Devin. I'm leaning more towards Frank Martin and Shakur as the ones to be closer for him to fight in the UK if he were to make this fight in the summertime. Those were my top three picks there. And I'm okay with any of those three. You know, it kills the notion and narrative about, for one, Tank doesn't fight black fighters. Two, Tank ducking everybody. You know, so it kills both of those narratives right there, because any of those those three fighters that I named will be great matchups, and they're top fighters in his division. Outside of Devin, Devin's no longer in the division. He's at 140, but if he were to come back down or catch weight, that'd be something great to have as well. So, I mean, three top fighters, and we already know Coach King has already mentioned that the fight that he wants is Shakur. And that, to us, well, at least to me, that's the toughest of all the available fighters for Tank at 135, 140 range. For me, it would be Shakur. So, I mean, if they get Shakur, that's going to kill all the Tank slander that's been going on for a while now. So, I mean, those three fights, that's what I see going on for UK if that were to happen this summer.
Yeah, the first thing that popped into my mind too was the fact that Coach Kenny mentioned that they were interested in having that fight with Shakur Stevenson. I think that's a big fight for that team, and it would definitely be a big fight for Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if I agree with you in terms of just the overall notion that Shakur Stevenson needs to be out of a contract with Top Rank in order for that fight to be made. We have seen at certain points a willingness from Top Rank to make certain fights. Now, generally speaking, when they are willing to make these fights, their guys are the favorites in the fight. Yeah, they're the favorites in the fight. But they have But I'm just saying, they may think that Shakur Stevenson is such a talent. I mean, they've been speaking to the level of excellency that we've seen coming out of Shakur Stevenson. They have a very high level of confidence as it relates to Shakur Stevenson. So it may be a possibility that they'd be willing to do business with the PBC and put Shakur Stevenson in the ring with Gervonta Davis. So I do like that fight. I think an easier fight to make probably would be Frank Martin. Now, is Frank Martin actually going to be the opponent? I have no idea. But that's an easy fight. He's on Man Down Promotions, which is affiliated with PBC and Al Heyman. So that should be, in theory, an easy fight to make. And Frank Martin would get the paycheck that he's looking for in regards to $1 million, if not more. I'm pretty sure he'll get a lot more. So all of those fights would be very interesting for Gervonta Davis. And of course, those are the two individuals, at least 2 out of the 3 that I mentioned, where I said that, he should and needs to fight one of those guys this year. Now, when I say need to, I'm strictly talking about the fact that I think that it would continue his momentum from what occurred in his fight against Ryan Garcia, and not so much having to do it because of anything outside of that, really. Because at the end of the day, he's one of the faces of boxing, if not the face of boxing. And so he can kind of move at his own pace. And then, of course, that third name that you mentioned there, Devin Haney, I would love to see Devin getting in the ring with Gervonta Davis as well. It would give enough time, enough runway for them to negotiate a fight like that. And if Devin is truly interested in a fight with Gervonta Davis, then I think that's something that can be made.
Yeah, I think time-wise as well for Frank, it'll be just under a year for him to have his return fight as well. So he wouldn't have been out a year for a while. For Tank, it'll be a little bit over a year because Tank last fall, I believe, was April 22nd against Ryan Garcia. So it'll be a little bit over a year, probably 14, 16 months. And we know inactivity has been a problem for fighters. They've been inactive for over a year. Usually they're taking a L. We know Tank has some other issues going on as well outside of boxing that kind of stopped him from getting other fights, last year and early part of this year. So, I mean, it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm happy with any of those fights. Shakur's last fight was in November. Devin's last fight was in November or early December. So, either way, all 3 of those fighters that we named, they will have less than a year off. So it wouldn't like they'll be coming off a long layoff. So that still would be good. I think Tank will be okay coming off a 14-month layoff as well. But I'm excited for this. I just wanted to see it happen. The other side of me that's kind of disappointed would be across the pond versus being in the States when we know they can sell Tank can sell out anywhere in the States. He sold out also over there when he fought Liam Walsh. I believe it was Liam Walsh or Liam Smith. I forget which one it was that Tank went over there and obliterated for the defendants one of his belts back. I think it was at 130. So but I'd rather have it in the States. But if they're going to do it over there, that's fine. And most importantly, is who Tank's fighting. Is the biggest deal for me. They can fight in UK, they can fight in Saudi, they can fight in America. Once he's fighting one of those 3 guys, I'm okay with it. Honestly, I want to see Tank fight the best and kill the narrative that he won't fight a African American fighter and all this other nonsense and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully it happens, but we gotta wait. We got months out. A lot of stuff could fall through the cracks. A lot of other things could come up as well, but at least it's being talked about.
Absolutely. So you guys tell us what you think in the comment section in regards to the possibility of this fight or these 3 fights happening in the UK. Gervonta Davis possibility returning in the summer for a fight possibly with Frank Martin, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. We'll see what materializes over the next few weeks. Don't forget to hate, like, comment, and subscribe. This is the Angry Man Podcast, AM Sports Media, and we are out.